Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a very quick look at the brand new Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Agent Anti-Venom. And as I said, this is going to be a very quick review, so we're not going to waste any time. Let's get into it, starting with the packaging. You're able to see the figure here. You can see the couple of accessories that he comes with. Down here we have some Venom artwork that looks kind of cool. On the side we get a look at Agent Anti-Venom, and I just love this costume design. It's awesome. On the back we get a shot of the figure and then a very brief description of the character. And the packaging is your standard Marvel Legends packaging, collector friendly, all that good stuff. Let's get him out of there and take a look. Okay, so here we go. Agent Anti-Venom, aka Flash Thompson, out of the box. And right away, I think this figure looks really good. And that's a big part of the reason why I picked him up. You know, as soon as I saw him, I was like, man, that's badass. I have to have it. Even though it's definitely a shameless repaint of a figure that's about 5 years old. That Agent Venom back there came out almost 5 years ago, and even when that figure came out, it used a bunch of outdated parts, and they didn't change anything when it comes to this new figure. They pretty much, it's basically a straight up repaint of that figure, which, you know, I don't know, I'm kind of torn about, because at first it's like, oh, that's kind of cheap of them. They should have done something different. But even if they did do something different, what difference would it have made? They could have put a new body under all this armor stuff, but it wouldn't have made a difference. The only thing they really could have added to this was maybe some kind of like shoulder swivel. But other than that, I mean, the result would have been the same. It would have been a Marvel Legends figure covered in armor that, you know, had some decent articulation, but most of it would have been hindered by the armor pieces. They already gave us new lower arms and new lower legs on that original Venom figure, and they worked fine there. And, you know, so why not just repaint it and release it like this? So I don't know, it's kind of hard to be mad at them. Some of the things on this body are out of date. You know, they look old, like the ball jointed hips, but they're covered here anyways. And they're really hard to notice because of the paint scheme, you know? So, I don't know. You know, I'm torn on this thing. I like it. You know, just in the end, I think it's a cool figure. But on principle, I'm kind of like, you know, why didn't they, like, update it? But what difference would it have made, to be honest with you? Anyways, let's take a look at it here. I really like the black and white and the silver highlights. I think the line work around the silver pieces are really nice. Check how crisp the lines are on there. Same thing down here on the hips. All of it looks really good. And then once again, all this stuff is reused from that old Agent Venom figure. It's all the exact same, like, belts and straps and everything, but it works, you know. Back here it gets a little, kind of looks a little cheap because it's just white plastic. I mean, I wish they would have done some detailing in there. Maybe adding a little wash to that would improve the look of that. And then you have this gun, you know, that's permanently holstered. That's kind of weak. But, you know, that's all stuff that we knew going into this figure. I think the new sculpted pieces, or I mean, not the new sculpted pieces, but I think the different sculpted pieces on the forearms and the legs look nice. And then you have the tendrils here that plug into the back, and they are removable, of course. And they just plug in there, and then they could hold on to the gun. So I think that's a really cool idea too. But that's one thing I wish that they would have done differently, was giving us better guns, because these guns suck. I think these come from Hitmonkey originally, and they were not that good to begin with. There's not a lot of detail on them. They're pretty much just, you know, black plastic. There's no paint detail, but I mean, the sculpt work on them is okay, I guess. They worked better for Hitmonkey because he's a smaller character, but I mean, I don't like them too much for Anti-Venom. I wish you would have came with something different. And another thing is, they probably should have included like an unmasked Flash Thompson head. I think that would have sold this figure a little bit more and would have made it a little bit easier to purchase. But yeah, overall, I'm a fan of the way this figure looks. I'm a fan of the character design. So, you know, if I wanted an Agent Anti-Venom, I think this achieves that. I'm not sure what they could have done better, you know. I think another company like Mafex or something would kill it with an Agent Venom, or Mezco or someone like that. But for Marvel Legends, I think this is as good as it would have gotten for an Agent Anti-Venom or an Agent Venom, or, you know, Flash Thompson as Venom. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a couple of quick size comparisons. So here we have Agent Anti-Venom alongside the Marvel Legends Scarlet Spider and the Marvel Legends Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man. And then now here we have him next to the Marvel Legends Venom and the Venom from Mafex. And then now here we have him alongside the Mafex comic book Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Agent Venom. And then next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Poison and the Mafex Miles Morales Spider-Man. And to finish off the comparisons, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And for the articulation, as you might expect, a lot of it is hindered because of all the armor pieces, but there's a lot in there because it is based on an old Toy Biz body and they were known for their articulation. So there's definitely a lot of points of articulation. It's just that not a lot of them are useful. But anyways, let's get into it. His head is able to move side to side. It is on a ball joint. He can look up to right there, but then it's stopped by the collar, the neck collar piece. And then he could look down to right there, but then it's stopped by the chin guard, I guess you could call it. And then for the torso, it obviously has this big like overlay piece on it, so it really doesn't allow for too much movement, but it does have like a little thing on the side where it's kind of fastened together, and if you unfasten it, you get a little bit of movement. Actually, you get a slight crunch out of it, you know. Check that out. You get a little bit of a crunch, and then you go back to right there, and you know, just a little bit. So I mean, that's cool. I wish there was a better way they could have done it. I'm sure if it was like Mafex or somebody like that, they would have just had the armor sculpted onto the torso with the cut in the middle, you know. I mean, you could kind of hide that piece of articulation in the design, so it would have been fine, but they decided to do it this way, you know. I mean, it works, it looks good, and it does get a little bit of movement, so that's cool. And then there is a waist swivel, and then there is ball jointed shoulders, and they could go all the way around. He does have this shoulder armor piece, but it just gets out of the way. It's soft plastic. And then his arm could come out to the side. And then you have the upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which are pretty good. Old school Toy Biz elbows. And then you have ball jointed hips, which I think is what most people are kind of mad about when it comes to this figure. But they're covered anyway, so it's all good. But they do come out to the side to right there. They could come forward, but you gotta kind of swing them. You gotta put them in the right position in order for them to move back and forth and side to side. But they do come forward to right there. They do come back only to right there. And yeah, these ball joints are pretty crazy, but I mean, they can be useful, so that's cool. And then there's the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. Oh, there we go. They're giving me a hard time right there, but there we go. And then for the lower legs, there's no swivel or anything, but for the feet, we have rocking ankles that move side to side. They go forward like that, and then they come up to right there. So a pretty good amount of articulation. Okay, so overall, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do feel like this figure is a lazy repaint of Agent Venom. I do feel like Agent Venom was made on outdated old parts that should have been retired a long time ago to begin with. But with that said, I think that the body works for Agent Venom. Most of it's covered anyway, so what does it matter? If they would have went ahead and put a new updated body under all that armor, it would have made no difference. It would have been the same figure. And I think the big complaint people have is the ball jointed hips, but to be honest with you, those things are covered by pouches anyways, so I don't think it really matters. I think the body works for Agent Venom and it works for Agent Anti-Venom. The one thing I think they could have done better was included more accessories. I think an unmasked Flash Thompson head would have really made people happy. Some better weapons would have been incredible, and maybe some different types of tendrils. But as far as the figure itself, I think this is the best that we could expect from Hasbro for Agent Venom or Agent Anti-Venom. I don't know if they're capable of doing better when it comes to this character. They've done some incredible figures this year. They've proven that they could give us import quality figures. You know, a figure like Beast from the Caliban wave is a perfect example of that. They're capable of doing some really great things, but for a character like Agent Anti-Venom that's mostly covered, you know, I just don't see anything they could have done differently, and I think this figure serves its purpose. And until Mafex or Mezco or somebody comes along and gives us a different Anti-Venom, then, you know, this is what we have, and I think it's okay. I think it looks awesome and it serves its purpose, and it's a fun figure. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this really quick review. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Peace.